The increased activity of the spring also means increased danger. This mallard's nest has been depredated. I believe this is the mother of the failed nest. Since the nest was raided, I've noticed a female on the beaver pine. There are also 3 drakes regularly here. There is a slim chance of a reattempt at nesting, but that's very unlikely. It was unlikely that this Canada goose, Emily as we know her, would lay a second brood, but it appears that she did. Most Canada geese prefer nesting on islands than to the banks, due to less vulnerability to predators, but we'll see how she does. The songbirds, of course, are also very active. Here is a flat-capped chickadee collecting cattail fluff to line its nest. In the forest, this dark-eyed junco is collecting roots for its nest. The bravery of chickadees often renders them the most adept foragers. Because of this, they are often the leaders of mixed flocks. We feed them so they will bring migrants close to us. And there are many migrants, but it's often hard to catch more than a glimpse of them, especially when they bounce around so quickly in search of insects. Usually, the ears are your best tool when birding, since every bird has its own distinct vocalizations. The redstart song is a chewy 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 chew, with the downward inflection on the final note. In this clip, the beat buzz of a blue-winged warbler can be heard. Although all of the failed attempts at filming migrants can be frustrating, it makes success that much more rewarding. I had the opportunity to observe this blue-headed vireo gleaning insects from the branches. All of the field marks were clearly manifested. The white spectacles, the blue-gray head contrasting with the white chest, the wing bars, the greenish back, and the yellow sides. course, the feeder areas are busy. It is always a delight watching the chipmunks stuff their cheek pouches with peanuts to save for later. Song sparrows are ever present. But they have to share their food with nuthatches and goldfinches. And woodpeckers. A fun challenge is trying to identify which bird's song the brown thrasher is mimicking.
Manager just dropped.
The rose-breasted grosbeak carols beautifully. Some liken it to a robin that has taken voice lesson. True swallows are excellent flyers. They can be seen chasing each other acrobatically like this all day long. Here is a field sparrow giving its alarm chicks.
Why can't all birds be that nice?
House sparrows have occupied many of our nest boxes. Many people try to discourage them from nesting because they are non-native. However, here at Spring Farm Cares, everybody is welcome. The house wren is a gorgeous little bird, packed full of energy. Almost predictably, the past few days, around the same time, in the same area, a single crow has been mobbing a single red-tailed hawk. haven't noticed much aquatic life in this part of the creek. However, I was reading the most diverse spots in creeks are the riffle zones, so I figured I'd stick my camera in and find out. After 17 minutes of recording, I did not see anything. The same goes for this spot, but they were very scenic. In the man-made pond, I know there are spots teeming with wildlife, mostly the shady spots under debris, but I figured I'd see what would happen if I set my camera in the sunlight. The only thing that swam past were minnows, what I believe to be fathead females, but I'm not positive since I have not seen any males yet. And then also a couple of tadpoles. While it may seem a failed experiment, I consider it important to question assumptions and plan to do it again later in the season. It's not raining here. The sound you hear is the sound of the creek running into the pond. And these ripples, I believe that they are midge flies. I can't get enough detail on them to know for sure. This is just my best guess at the moment. It was impossible to follow individuals around with my camera, but I could, however, do it with binoculars. I did notice one would grab another and carry it around. The surrounding flies would bombard the individual carrying the other until it would drop it, and then they would steal it off the surface of the water. My guess is perhaps this is a mating ritual. This is pure speculation, but it is still fascinating and mysterious. Back to the man-made pond. All the toad eggs from last week have disappeared, probably eaten. However, new eggs have been laid, and the toads have been mating for a second time. And a snapping turtle showed up in the pond. We stumbled upon this green frog cold stunned in a puddle. It was gone by the afternoon. And a small wood frog. Not uncommon, but easy to miss, are the snails. Most terrestrial snails breathe through a lung, but there are still some primitive snails that breathe through gills. They are well known for the trails of slime they leave behind them as they move. They secrete this mucus in order to protect their soft bodies from abrasions and desiccation. Snails typically possess two pairs of tentacles. The upper pair holds the eyes, while the lower pair is used as olfaction sensory apparatus. The majority of snails are hermaphroditic, and they will lay their eggs in the topsoil. A full-grown and sexually mature snail can be distinguished by the lip that it grows around the rim of its shell. The dandelions around here have really been popping. By afternoon, almost every single one has either a pollinator or a predator on them. The following few bees are members of the Halictidae family, commonly known as sweat bees. Halictidae is a large family with a worldwide range and over 500 species found in North America, north of Mexico. They are characterized as small to medium sized, and the basal vein on the forewing is strongly curved. Most of them are slender, with males being slightly more slender than females. The males usually have patches of yellow on the face. Another distinguishing factor between males and females is the scopa on the hind legs. The scopa is a little hair that acts as a pollen basket. Males lack this scopa. With such a large family, the behavior can vary dramatically. Some are solitary, most are semi-social, but a few are even eusocial. Most sweat bees nest in the soil, but some also nest in rotting logs. This particular sweat bee is an Ogochlorella species. The metallic green coloration and the long end segments on the antenna make this apparent. While they are pollinators, they can also be found in aphid colonies, feeding on the honeydew secreted by the aphids. These appear to be females of two different species. The more robust one is a Lasioglossum species. The dull metallic sheen and the short hairs on the abdomen distinguish this one. This is the species most often associated with the lighting on your arm in the summer. The more slender bee, with the banded abdomen, is a Halictus species. You will not find any males until a final generation is produced, either in the late summer or early fall. Lurking in a nearby dandelion is the flower spider. And over in a colt's foot is its close relative, the goldenrod spider. Bumblebees, such as this two-spotted bumblebee, have been active all over the sanctuary. This carrion beetle seems to be making a meal of coyote scat. This tussock moth caterpillar was found in the beaver meadow. And these relatively large red mites have been found all over the woods lately. And wolf spiders are also common. This family can be distinguished by their 8 eyes of unequal size arranged in 3 rows, and also by the long abdomen and the cephalothorax approximately as wide as it is long. As far as flowers go, this is some of what's in bloom right now. Some of the white trillium in the backwoods has been turning pink. And this red trillium hasn't been in bloom since late March. And then there's these beautiful quote-unquote weeds on the animal sanctuary. Some alcohol inkies, one single morel, and a whole host of other unidentified fungi have emerged lately. Many of the fiddleheads are starting to unravel, while some are still appearing. And that sums up another fine week at Spring Farm Care's Nature Sanctuary.